Hello guys, and welcome to the second part of how to build a fridge in Roblox Studio. As you remember, in the past game we built something that looks a little bit like a fridge, but in this video we're going to keep on building it, and I promise this video is going to be way more interesting to watch. We're going to be covering very interesting tools, so definitely stand by and let's go to our training ground. As you remember that, guys, this is where we stopped. We built something like this. I know, this doesn't look like a fridge at all. So we're going to be rebuilding the fridge. Well, not completely. It is actually going to be way more interesting because we're going to be actually making a very realistic fridge. Almost the same one as on the thumbnail. So let's go. Alright guys, here we are, and at first of course we have to open all our tabs. As you can see, I actually don't have the tab with the Explore and Properties on the right, and right now I will show you how to open them. Over here on the top bar we have these little buttons as Home, Model, Avatar, Test, View and Plugins. And to open different tabs you just have to go on View, and here you'll have all the different tabs that you have in your game. And the most important ones, of course, are the Explorer, the Properties, the Output is actually something important for the scripters, and maybe the Toolbox, but we will talk about that a little bit later. At first, we don't even need the Output, because we're only building, we're not scripting yet. We will be scripting later. But at first, this is what we got, and this time we're going to be covering Model. So we're going to be going over the most important tools in Model over here. But to make your studio, but for that we have to set up your studio. And don't worry, this isn't that hard, because all we have to do is just to enable your beta features. Because Roblox Studio is updating sometimes, but none of their features are always officially released. And right now I will show you how you can get access to all of them instantly. At first you go on File, then you go over here on Beta Features, obviously, and here you just have to make name true, and this is literally it. All you have to do is just to press save and then restart your studio. I have OBS running in the background, as you can see, and this is it. This was all the thing that we were needed to do. Now our studio successfully restarted, and now we have access to all the beta features, and this is the way how you can do it as well. It is very simple. Yeah, and now let's get to building. So of course at first we're going in the workspace, and remember we created the model fridge. So I will right now create a folder. If you will click this little plus, you will there is a little button over here, and if you'll click that button you will actually be able to open like a really big format, or in this small format. I recommend the big one because you just have a better overview over all the instances that exist in Roblox Studio. So at first we'll create a folder that I'm going to rename to Working On. And now we have a folder, and we will put every single part we're going to be creating inside of that folder. So at first, for that you just can go over to Model, and here you got the part creator. So you just create a part and put it into Working On. Now this part is going to be the floor of our fridge. That's why I'm going to rename it to floor. Yes. And now we can scale it a little bit. Let's make this actually pretty thin, I guess, and a little bit in this direction because the fridge is a little bigger, you know. We want to have a big fridge to put inside of it lots of food. And I think this is a good size, isn't it? Over here you can actually see okay, yeah, this is it. This is a perfect floor for a fridge, I guess. And now we need the walls for our fridge. So let me do this right now. We are just going to duplicate the floor. You can do this by going over here on floor and tabbing duplicate, or you can press Ctrl D. It will do the exact same thing. And all these little symbols over here are the shortcuts for making all the tools and all the things way quicker and better. Like for example, Ctrl X is cutting, and then you cut it off. So now you have to click on the instance you want to insert it and paste into. That's the way you do it. And now we have the floor, and it's going to be the left side. Okay, now we have the left side, and I'm going to rotate it on 90°. And with the select tool, we will place it like this over here. Let's go. I'm going to disable shadows. We learned about all of that in the past video and how to do this. And now there is another thing that I want to show you, and this is the transform tool. I was not covering it in my last video, and there is actually a simple reason, because this tool is none else than all the tools over here, all the regular tools, but combined in one. This is literally all it is. It is nothing more, except it is making this weird grid thing over here. So yeah, I don't know. If you want, you can be using transform. I'm honestly not that a big fan of it. And now these are also really important things. This is the snap to grid. So what is snap to grid? If we're going to select a random part, let me show you to you real quick. What are the grids? This is the axis that and how much you are changing it per one pull, I guess. So if I'm going to make this to one stud, what is one stud? You see these little boxes, and one box is one stud. It's like 1 times 1 stud. And now if I'm going to move it, I will be moving it on one stud every time, because I placed one stud over here. And that means that you can do changes in the precession of exactly one stud. Pretty cool, I guess. And this is the precession for rotation. I have it in 45°. If I'm going to set it to 10, I will be able to rotate it way more precise. As you can see. And see, if I'm rotating it, there are these little lines, and every single line is the place where the rotation stops. And the less the number here is, the more of these lines you get. But I just recommend you setting it to 45. I mean, usually 45 is enough precession for you, but the bigger these ranges are, the better it is for you to rotate or move the parts. Now, to get infinite precession, you can just click on that arrow and make it gone, and then you'll be able to move the parts, as you can see, extremely smoothly. But not only moving, you can be also rotating them extremely smoothly. The thing is, it is really unprecise, and if you're building something that requires precession, it might get pretty difficult, and you will probably not like it that much. So yeah, this is about snap to grid, and my favorite axis, my favorite grids are 45° in rotate and 0.25 in move. Yeah, as you can see, this is already getting pretty interesting, isn't it? And now we're going to call this the left side, and we will make it probably a little bit smaller, because guys, I think we're going to be building a really big fridge over here, aren't we? I think we're actually building a very big fridge. So now the left side, we're going to call this the lower left side, because it is on like the actually I'm not do this just yet. This is going to be our left side, and it is going to go up all the way over here. Now, to create the right side, all you have to do is once again go over here, press Ctrl D, or just by clicking, duplicating the part, moving it over here, and renaming it to right side. Wait, let me type it. Okay, let's go. Now we got both of them. They both are not casting shadows, which is awesome. And now we have to create the... Now we are duplicating them again, and this is going to be the back side of our fridge. And we will rotate this again on 90° and move it all the way over here. Yes, just like that. As you can see, this actually already looks like a little white box, I guess. This is not a fridge yet. Just yet, guys. And this, I'm duplicating it once again, and this is going to be the front side of our fridge, and you will move it over here. As you can see, I'm building it pretty quickly, and actually you really have to play around with these tools a little bit to become as quick as me, because I have already around how long? I think 1 year of experience in Roblox Studio, and that's why, as you can see, I'm also changing the grid sometimes a little bit to make it perfect. As you can see, I'm making it just the perfect size, so the parts are not going to be like going inside of each other. This is something bad. You should never do that, okay? If you're building something, make sure that parts are not going in each other except you really need it or really want it. That's a different case then. So yeah, you just have to play a little bit around with these tools, and then you'll be able to do just as good as I am. Okay, now, there is actually a little thing about our front side, because I'm going to make this a little smaller. So we're going to have the lower side of the fridge, like this one over here, and up here we're going to have the colder, like the actual freezer. So this is going to be the lower front side, and it is going also to be the door. Yes, this is going to be our first door, and I will even show you how you can make the door work. So yeah, stand by, definitely. But at first I would like to select a material. As you learned in the past video, we go over to the material manager, we wait until all our materials load in, and now we need a good material for our fridge. I have honestly no idea which one to pick. Metal, a metal fridge. It actually looks just the same as the old one. I think we should choose something different, don't we? So let's make a diamond plate fridge. No, I don't like that. Maybe... actually, why am I choosing that? Let's actually make this a diamond plate. Wait a minute, floor. Wait a minute, I tapped it wrong, didn't I? Alright, sorry guys, I was gone for a little while. There was actually some stuff for me to do, like at home. Anyway, where do we stopped? We created the lower front side. Yes, exactly. So actually, as you can see, now we have 2 boxes. Awesome, isn't it? I mean, let me just duplicate this one just as well. And then scale it. Nice, nice, nice. And guys, I think this is it. This is going to be the end of today's tutorial. No, guys, I'm just kidding. Of course, we're not going to create something like this and leave it out. Let's go over to the actual, how should I call it, hot part of our video. Because right now we will be doing something even more epic that will make it way more interesting. So at first, we're duplicating this. This is our top of our fridge. We're putting it over here. Wait a minute. Let me... Okay, wait a minute. Yes, it is inside. Never letting it inside. Wait a minute. We have to scale it a little bit now with a little bit more precision. Perfect. Okay, so now we have all the things we need, and here is how we're going to be working with it right now. So this is, we have to create, as in a real fridge got holes like handles where you can grab the fridge. So let's create inside of our folder even more folders. I mean, the game lets us to. And this folder is going to be folder 1. And here we go. We have to create a part at first. Here it is. This is where it will start getting interesting, guys. Do not worry. It will actually start be really interesting. Making this a cylinder. Now using the selector to make it stick over here like that. Now we need to make this... Let's make this actually metal, but we're going to make it black. Yes, just like that. Now we will scale it a little smaller. And now we're going to duplicate this one. Yes, still like on the whole. Actually, I don't like, they're like too... Yeah, we have to make them smaller, don't we? They have to be like way smaller. Okay, nice. This is going to be the upper and this is going to be the lower. Yes, okay, let's call it like that. And duplicating this, pulling it out a little, rotating it a little. Now we're going, this hole is actually fine, I think. For like from the size, I think it's fine, isn't it? We're going to make this a little bigger, like this. Yes, awesome. That looks nice, doesn't it? And we will now make this grow a little bit, so it will... Yeah, guys, doesn't it look nice? I mean, it looks a little bit, like, kind of nice, at least. Now, we need a second hole that is going to be bigger, obviously. So I'll just copy all of that stuff and create a brand new folder. The holder 2, yes. And we will just do the paste into, and here we go. Yes, I think this is it. But I mean, this is going to be the holder, the actual holder. Wait a minute, that means that here it is also called. Yes. I really recommend you renaming all these parts, because it's just very, then you'll be able to quicker recognize them, and it will be just better for you to work with all of that. So I very recommend you doing that too. And yes, looks nice, doesn't it? Okay. This is like the beginning. Now we have to make some interior, but before we're going to make this, we will actually do some more stuff. Like, as you know, this is the lower front side. Actually, let's call this upper. It is the upper front side. And we will take the holder 2 and put it inside of upper front side. And once we're going to move the upper front side, the door, wait a minute, right? We have to put both of them in a model. So we're just going to group this as a model. This is going to be the upper door. As you remember, we were covering models in the past video, and as you can see now, if we're going to be opening it, or kind of opening it, it will be opening like the entire door. So not bad, right? And we still have the holder 2 and this door right here, and we will just as well group them as a model. So now we have the lower door model. Actually, let's uncapitalize it, and here we go. Now we have the lower and upper door, and here is where it starts getting a little bit more interesting, because there's this little button. It's called edit pivot, and this is actually a beta feature. That's why we were enabling the beta features in the beginning. And if you click on it, there's actually, you'll see you have the rotate and move tool like combined. Now how to use this? We're going to move our pivot over here, and if we're going to use the rotate tool or the move tool, we will see that now we're moving this point. As you remember, we were actually pulling this point right here, and if we will bring it back, it will be pulling on this point. But for a fridge, so the door is going like to open up to this side, we will move the pivot over here. And now, once we're going to be like opening the door, as you can see, that's the way how we opened the door. Pretty cool, right? Now we're going over to this model. We're also grabbing the pivot and moving it over here. You can also move it like over here or like anywhere inside of the model, but we're going to move it over here for like a typical fridge doors. And yes, as you can see, that already looks very weird. Yes, awesome. To fix that, I'm going to click this little button to bring it all back at first. So what was our problem? We edited the pivot a little bit wrong. We were actually needed to bring it over here and now bring it over here. This was our mistake. and that's why the door was like a little weird, but now it should be good. So let's try it. And boom. Oh yes, as you can see, it is working. Wait a minute, it looks a little weird. We have to fly a little bit up. And here we go. As you can see, it is all good now. The doors are now opening kind of normally. But this fridge, even from the inside, it looks boring. And I think I forgot to anchor all the parts that we have. So you can just actually select multiple objects, and then you can go down here and anchor all of them at once. Yes. So now we have all this anchored. Sorry for that, guys. This is actually like more a beginner mistake, but even I am doing this sometimes. Actually, guys, I don't like the material and the color of it right now. Color? Bro, I don't know. Wait a minute, we can choose brick color. Brick color is better in my opinion. Wait a minute. Oh, and wait a minute. We will not select the parts and like these parts. We will only be selecting this part. Let me just. At first these. So we'll select all these parts. This one and this one. Okay. We have to. The material, like, I don't know what about you, but it sucks. It sucks for me right now. So we're going to make it just plastic. A plastic fridge doesn't look that bad. So yeah, just plastic. Plastic is a really nice material, like why not? Okay, nice. As you can see, there is a little shadow. Actually, let's try to enable all these shadows. Maybe it won't be that bad. I'm not that a big fan of shadows, but actually, yes, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, it just looks a little bit more clear if they're like shadows inside of the fridge. Alright, then let's work with some shadows. And now we have to like to put lights in our fridge, right? I mean, all this shadow, it's a little weird, and in real life, you don't like a fridge with shadows, right? So we're going to make some lights, and this is like the best part of the entire video, I believe. At first, we will create the block. We will pull this in working on and rename this to light holder, because it's going to be holding the light. So no, actually it's going to be the light. It is going to be the light, and we will make it we're going to make the, as you can see, we have to make it the same on the x-axis, so 1, as on the z-axis 1, and maybe even 1 on like all the axes. No, actually we'll make this 0.25. And now we will make this part a really cool material. I'm talking about neon. It's like this cool, bright part. And I will right now show you another instance that is actually very important, and it's the light. So we got the point light, the spotlight, and the surface light. So for this one, I'm going to recommend surface light. And if we're going to zoom out, we will see that the surface light right now is going like to the left. So let me just take this part real quick, and we're going to put it inside of our fridge. This is going to be our light source, basically. So we're putting it over here. I don't think light is making shadows. And now we are going over to our surface light, and we see that it's facing in the wrong direction. So what you will do, you'll go over here to face, and you have to find the one that is good. We have to place it to bottom, and here we go. We already have some light inside of our little room. And we will put this, actually it was a good spot, and we'll just make it even more going over here and over here. Right. Now the light, I think white light is fine, but the range is a little too far. We'll make the range a little lower, but the brightness may be higher. Okay, cool. Now we have one light part, and actually, as you can see, this light part looks, let's just say, pretty ugly. And I know you probably don't like this light part. That's why we will make this look a little bit better. And we're going to be using for that something that we call onions. We developers call that onions, and this is this tool up here, and it is actually super interesting. So yeah, light with onions is, I hope it's going to be very cool. So how do onions work? At first, onions, what is an onion? If you will take multiple parts and select them, and then you will do an onion out of them, you're going to turn all these parts to one part. And these parts that are made out of multiple parts are called onions. So at first, we will grab and pull this over here, right? And at first, we will create another part. This part is actually very big right now in comparison to our light part. And we will rename this one into light holder. Exactly. Light holder. Okay, let's go. Now the light holder part is going to be a light holder, yes. And here is how you are doing it. We're just going to make it the same size as our light part at first. So to do that, you can just go ahead to your light part, and over here have the property size. You can just go ahead and copy it and paste it in here. Just with copy and pasting, and here we go. We have the perfectly same size part. But we will make the light holder. Let's actually, wait a minute, let's change the material real quick. And we're going to make it a little bigger. I mean, it's holding the light. That means it has to be a little bigger, doesn't it? So we're going to make the size difference minimal, I guess. And here we go. And now we're just going to take our light part and put it over here. This is how noobs are doing it. Or if you were, or before this video, I'm pretty sure you would be doing it like that. Well, now you're no longer don't know about this video, and here I will show you how you can make this way cooler. So at first you have to duplicate our light part, and now you go over here to solid modeling and press negate. And as you can see, we now have this weird red part. I know it is a little bit transparent. This is a negative part, just like it says over here in the workspace. And what is a negative part? If you're going to, like, imagine you have something negative, and if you combine it with something positive, what turns out? Nothing. Exactly the same case we have here in Studio. All you have to do, you go over here and put the part inside of our light holder. And now you go on select and you click our red part, then you hold shift and select our light holder. We were learning this technique in the past video as well. And now all you have to do is just to click onion. And as you can see, we just created this really cool onion that we now can call light holder. But this time it is more like official. In general, I recommend you, we got this little property here, enable it always. In my upcoming videos, I will be explaining the difference between that. And right now, we can now perfectly go ahead and move this part in here. And here we go, we have a perfect light. So now we have the light, we have the light holder. What remains? Of course, we're going to select both of them. And then we're going to group them as a model. And we're going to call this model a light part, for example. The names don't matter for you just yet as a creator or a developer if you're watching this video, but later on, if you are going to be scripting, names will be a really important aspect of your game development. So make sure you will be aware of it, that it's going to be really important for yourself. At first, you take this part over here, and now all we have to do is just to duplicate these a few more times. And here we go. We now have a pretty nice lighting over here in our fridge. And now we have to create all the little bars inside of our fridge, and of course there are multiple ways in how you can create them, but we're going to make them not like in this fridge, like just little parts. We're going to make them like actual glass and transparent, really cool looking parts. All we have to do for that is at first, of course, at first, as you can see, our working on folder is being flooded by the different models and parts. That's why I recommend creating as many models as possible. Not too many, but as much as you need. So all these things, we can group them once again as a folder, and let's call this fridge main parts, I guess. Like the main parts that our fridge is built of. And now let's go. I guess we can now go ahead and build the parts inside of our fridge. So at first you can click over here and insert a part, and our fridge is going to be built out of, wait a minute, actually a really good idea is to put the part inside of the fridge from the beginning on. So our parts are going to be blue, just like glass is, isn't it? Let's pick storm blue. I don't know, medium steel blue or bright blue. Let's take D blue. Now we will make the part a little more transparent, like glass is transparent. So we'll make this a little bit more transparent. Right. Now we will add the material glass. It is right here. Here we go. As you can see, it became a little untransparent. So we can just make it a little more. Like 0.6 transparency, I think is going to be fine for that. If you're building this fridge as well, you can set it to whatever you want. Now, as you remember in the past video, we were scaling like that. We were just scaling, and when we were running into a wall, we were just scaling it back. Now, if you want to make this quicker, you can go over here and enable collision. What this does, if you will now be scaling something and run into an object, it will automatically stop scaling it or moving it. It is working for both, as you can see. I keep on dragging the mouse, but it does not let me go through it because we have collision enabled. And in these cases, it's just way quicker to enable collision, and then you can instantly scale all of that perfectly. Isn't that awesome? So yeah, now we're just going to move it up a little, and to make this look a little bit more fancier, I guess we will rename this to glass part. But the main thing that I actually wanted to make fancier is inserting another object, and this is a part that is going to be like a little thing that is going to be like over here hanging on our glazern part. So we'll make this a little smaller. I'm going to disable collision right now because I don't need it, and we will make this to 0.125 studs. As I say, guys, this is just my personal preference. You don't have to be copying it from me, and 0.125 does not have to be your favorite scale. But for me, it's just the absolute favorite. That's why I'm using it all the time. Now I need collision, so I'm enabling it. Boom, scaled, done. This is it. And now, how should we call this part? I'm going to leave it out like that. We're just going to keep it part. And now we will turn this into another model. Group as model. We will rename the model into item holder, just like that. And now we have our model. All we have to do, duplicating it. Oh, actually, look, it was duplicated on top. And do you know why it was duplicated on top? Because we have collision enabled. If we will disable this and try to duplicate again, it will get duplicated into exact the same spot. It is just a little detail, but sometimes it is important, so remember that. And now we have to scale. Now we have to fill our fridge with these item holders. I have no idea how many we need, so we're just going to insert a few like just like in a real fridge. And here we go. The only thing is, we are going to have like, yes, I think 3 of them are going to be like in the fridge, and this one is going to be in, this is going to be the one for the freezer. And yes, that doesn't look that bad, does it? Look. But as you notice, guys, this fridge looks pretty fancy. If we're going to load in the game, I hope I anchored all the parts. So as you can see, this fridge looks already way better than this one, I believe. And wait a minute, let me, oh yeah, I forgot to, wait a minute, actually, let me open the fridge so we can look inside of it, because our fridge is not functional yet. But don't worry, guys, in the next video, I will actually go ahead. Look, in the next video, I will show you something else, but at first, I will show you how to anchor a massive amount of parts. If you will select like lots of parts with our technique, you can right click on it and press the button select children, and then you will select every single thing that is inside of all these things. And now we can go ahead and see that not every part is anchored. We're disabling anchorism for all parts, and now we're enabling it again. And to make sure that every single part is anchored, we will select the children again, just in case. And here every single part is anchored, so we're good to go. Now, as you can see, I opened a lot of models and a lot of folders. And how can I get rid of that? You have to find like the part that is all the way on top. In this case, is the working on. So right-clicking it and then pressing collapse all. And it will close every single folder and every single model inside of it, just like itself. But if you want to open every single one of them, you will click expand all, and as you can see, it expanded every single instance, and you can see every single instance inside of each. So yeah, these are just a few other really basic tools. So let me just open the fridge like this so we can take a closer look at it as the player. And here we go. As you can see, the fridge actually is pretty big. We can try to fit an entire player, and yes, it actually worked. We fit my entire character inside of our fridge. Maybe we made the fridge a little too big, guys, so I guess we will make all of that, like this entire thing. We will go over here and once again select children. Now we're going to cut them. The working on folder will be deleted. Instead, we will create a model that we will rename to fridge 2. And and we're going to right click on it and press paste into, and here we go, the entire fridge is inside of that model. And we now can, as I showed in the past video, scale the entire fridge just to the size we need it. So now we can load in the game, and we can go over and see that now the fridge is actually a very good size in the comparison to the player. Maybe the fridge is a little bit bigger than a regular player is, but I guess it's fine for now. And I mean, you can rescale it to any way you want. As you can see, we created a fridge right now, but this is, guys, just the beginning. This fridge is not functional yet. Like, you cannot really interact with it. It's just standing over here. It got the nice light inside of it. You can jump on it, you can climb on it, all of that. But it's just a fridge with nothing that you can really do. So I'm going to show you how to make this fridge functional in the next video. Thank you for standing by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!